Because and let's talk about the Vision Pro. So the Vision Pro is here. We're here. The launch date is February the 2nd, but apparently it's sold out. There's only apparently rumors of
very limited numbers.
Well, 180,000 units. But check this out, right? So it's $3,500. Let's just call it $3,500, right? Around there, right?
Yeah.
180,000 units.
It's about the amount of a very expensive MacBook Pro.
Yeah,
which I've brought before. Like, that's the price. But it's
630 mil, man. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know but like, look, we've talked about like the product. It's going to be niche.
Yeah.
It's really expensive.
I think that's on purpose that it's niche. It's not really meant for public. I got this theory that it's not really meant for public, for the mass.
Well, not at that price. They've
Definitely not at that price.
themselves out.
It's meant literally, and people have called it a dev kit. And I'd agree with them. Like, at that price, it is literally a dev kit. You're getting a preview of a product that I don't believe is finished yet.
So then what is... So this product...
I believe it's there to get developers on board. That's its main focus.
So the interesting narratives about this is going to launch in Feb 2nd. It's already sold out.
Yeah.
So you've seen the video of like how...
So you use your hand.
So you can use your hand. You can do all these Zoom things. Spatial recognition. Yeah. It has a lot of the Apple productivity apps. Yeah. There's actually like a demonstration where it connects with your MacBook Pro, which basically, if you have it on, it's basically a portable screen, if you want to think about it, that allows you to be immersed in whatever content you want, right? Yeah. So there's a big hoo-ha about a lot of the major apps, i.e. YouTube, Netflix, and Spotify are not going to launch with an optimized thing. So it's coming in half-baked with some of the biggest apps in the world. So I think...
And this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Apple and its App Store, they take a 30% cut.
Correct, yeah.
Which just, like, if you're trying to get developers onto this, I would consider Apple if you would just, like, not have that 30% cut. Maybe go down to 15%. Well,
it's a big revenue, right?
It's a lot. That 30% cut really... It does drive a lot of developers away. It does
drive a lot of revenue for them. But that's the thing, right? Maybe they could reduce it if you, for example, work on an app
specifically for the Vision
like
Pro,
the economic ways of incentivizing it. But I think what's interesting here is, okay, you remember, I don't know if you remember it, but like the first... So for example, I was amongst the first guys that bought like an MP3 player, Creative Movo. Yeah. Like I remember the name, right? So you have early adopters at any sort of scale, right? Yeah. But now we're in the spectrum of technology that people know, not that they know, but like, you know that, dude, if like a new technology of the first time comes, it's never going to be good as the first, right?
No.
It's the first, it's never going to be good as second or third, right? But that doesn't necessarily stop people from buying, right? Yeah. And they've interestingly labeled this product as Pro. And when you label it Pro in the Mac series, or it's a pro-grade instrument, meaning it's not for consumers.
And the interesting thing also, they're not calling this a VR, AR device. They're calling this a spatial computer.
What's the difference, though?
Because it has, and this is the difference, right? It costs that much because what they're doing with VR and AR is unheard of. Yeah. People who've tried it, be like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
It's mainly because of the fact that they're using expensive LEDs,
really expensive grade equipment, right?
Expensive grade equipment, expensive cameras. The whole thing costs a lot to make. And
I'd be surprised if they're making any level of profit on this thing at all. And I definitely not a profit.
They won't. Yeah. And that they probably know that they won't. But it's just the device is a big shift. What I've been told from like your Meta Quest, was it headsets, right?
Yeah.
This is like on another level, and people believe it's the standard that needs to be reached to reach the mass market.
Yeah.
But the price is a problem.
Yeah.
And Apple realizes that as well. The tech that's needed is like very high, but the price is way too high for a mass market to really grasp it. I've been told that they're also working side by side on this Ray-Ban style version of this, which could be like a light. So that's Pro, right?
Yeah.
This could be like a light. They're probably waiting for the tech to sort of come down, the price of components to come down to a point where that's possible.
Yeah.
The version 2 of this would be interesting. I wonder if it's cheaper.
Yeah. Well, it'll have to be. It'll have to be. I think we've seen this with Tesla, right?
Yeah.
So right now, the biggest impediment, well, it's not necessarily only the biggest, infrastructure is there, to electrical cars is the cost. Quite simply, it just costs more, right? apart from the charging infrastructure and that, which is actually another big element. So Tesla is rumored to be working on a $25,000 US car, which that would be a game over, right? That would fuel adoption. So that economic price point is there. But I think what Apple are masters in marketing and manufacturing. So what the Vision Pro is, assume you're not making any money on it and it's a loss leader, which it probably is. I can't imagine it'd be a loss leader, but I would assume it'd be net neutral, right? Or very little loss that they're making on it. It is the ultimate marketing device because you'll have one of these in every store, which anyone, regardless if you earn 20 grand a year to 120 grand a year, will be able to put on, right? Yeah. So what happens is you have this that aspirationally like, oh my God, I tried this. It was flipping sick, right? I can't afford it though, right? Then the downgraded version happens that comes in for I don't know, let's call it $900, right? Yeah. Whatever, right? Like to still make a quality component. And you know, just by virtue of the price difference, that it's not going to be the same level of quality. Yeah. But you've already bought into it because that level of quality in your mind is going to be what Apple is resonating, which is what they do with their MacBooks. Yeah. Regardless of the fact if you buy the most expensive MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, you have bought into a level of quality. And if you've experienced the MacBook Pro as your first thing, even though you're buying a MacBook Air and it's maybe let's say 50% of the experience, you're still going to be transported to that experience there. Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, if you wanted to make
you into that experience.
Yes. If you wanted to make money straight off the bat, you can go reverse. They could have made a cheaper one to begin with. Like it makes economic sense.
I think they wanted a wow.
They wanted a wow. And Apple has the balance sheet to be able to do that. Here's
the thing, right? This is also the combination of their hardware endeavors. Yeah. So they've been developing chips now for a couple of years, and this has an M2 chip.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
This is a culmination of that, and what Tim Cook has wanted to do for a long time. They have an advantage over Meta, who's I believe would be the closest competitor, right?
Yeah.
With the Quests and
they're
stuff
buying
like
that. NVIDIA chips, right?
So Meta's buying, actually, they're called Snapdragon.
Qualcomm. It's an Qualcomm. Qualcomm. Which is what all the
which is a mobile chipset, right? So this is the difference, right? Meta has a mobile chipset, while the Vision Pro has something like an M2.
An M2. Like chip. A desktop. I mean, like
which is a fairly powerful chip.
Yeah.
And... yeah, that's why they're calling that a spatial computer and that VR, AR device. But do I see Apple releasing one that is similar to that would compete with the Meta Quest? That could be like, it wouldn't be $400 like the Meta Quest is right now, but imagine like a $1,200 device. Would you buy an Apple $1,200 device?
Well, here's the thing. Your perception of what is expensive is relative to what you... how am I trying to... is relative to what you think it's worth, right? Yeah. So for example... if you were presented with an item that was $500 and it was 20% on sale, I'm getting a deal. It's a freaking deal, right? Yeah. So if I saw a Meta, if I saw the Vision Pro and it was $3,500 USD and I had a Vision Lite, even though it's light and it's 1,200, I'm like, shit, if it's 50% of if it's 60% of it, it's a massive deal, right? Because psychologically you're bought into to what you kind of saw. And I think that's the way you can play it, because Apple products are always more expensive than
because this is what I believe Apple's trying to do with the strategy. They're going to keep it in stores, have people try it on, build that buzz of like, this is an amazing headset. This technology is incredible. Because while Meta has done well with the Quest, there's 25 million sold of the Quest 3 and Quest 2. I don't believe it's reached completely mass market. It's very good as a console. Yeah. As like a games console. It's very respectable numbers.
Yeah.
Has it reached smartphone level type thing? No. But how would you do that in today's age with something like a VR headset? Is you go the Apple route. You really wow them with something crazy in store, build a buzz, build that word of mouth. Yeah. And then when something like a Vision Air comes out at $1,200, which is much more justifiable, then you'd be like, okay, maybe I get that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I can get it for $1,200. Yeah. Maybe it's a plan. Maybe it's like a phone plan, right? You pay like what, $50 a month, you can get it?
Yeah. Well, we agree that the form factor, I've been told how heavy the damn thing is not a mass market form factor.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? I heard a lot of reviewers say that the first time they tried it, absolutely incredible. Yeah. They were like in another world. It just felt like the input was crazy. Yeah. They didn't know how it was working. It felt like magic. The second time people tried it, they're like, the magic's there.
Yeah, they noticed.
But I can notice that the weight was weighing me down.
And because it's a high quality screen, it's a high quality chipset.
But here's the thing, right? Like that short term sort of wow factor is what Apple's going for in the stores.
Yeah.
They know no one's going to buy this. Like mass market,
sold
right?
out.
But there's like, obviously enthusiasts, they'll buy it. But the mass market, they'll go in and try it. They'll only try it for like 15 minutes.
I will say, if you think of the use case of something like this that can immerse you in, what are the use case of it? I can tell you the use case of it. I'd sell it to the American military to use it to train their jet fighter pilots, right? I'd give it to surgeons. And that's what Microsoft did. It was a B2B business that was selling it with that thing. If you have something that good.
Well, here's the thing. Would you use this to replace your laptop? Because that's what Apple wants.
No, I wouldn't.
It's because of the battery life, right?
It's not the battery life. It's because the form factor. If I have what was it in kilos? 300 grams?
Yeah.
Okay, it was 600 grams.
600 grams, yeah.
Bro, that's 2 Coke cans. Okay, it sounds small. But if you have two
when you have that for a while.
Yeah, and also the weight distribution is on the front. Yeah. It's not that it's on your top.
That's
it's
a good
there.
thing with the Quest. They have these straps where the weight gets distributed equally, so you don't feel it as much.
Exactly. But the point of the matter is not, I wouldn't, because I just think that like you use your laptop for hours on end. It doesn't work like that. Like not with 600 grams in front of you.
It probably won't work until it's in the glasses form factor.
Yeah,
the Ray-Ban.
It has to be the glass form factor. The tech is not there yet, and the price point's probably not there yet. But it's a great marketing tool, and it's a great product in itself. And the good thing is, like, that's what you want Apple doing anyway. Like you want
them pushing the boundary. Yeah. They for the longest time, Apple they made the iPhone, and they're like, we'll just make different.
We'll just make it curvy edges, bigger screen,
the watch. Like they weren't really revolutionizing anything.
I will say I don't think this is revolutionary.
This is definitely like it's pushing a lot of buttons, right? It's definitely like this is a complete 180.
Well, we know that Apple is working on a smart car. You know that, right?
Yeah,
they're working on cars. Yeah. Dude, they got to get into houses.
Yeah.
What if you had a smart house?
Yeah.
What if you had a smart house that was built in, I don't know, graphite?
Well, we've heard about these
like
houses that get
modular, that get clicked on.
No, we've heard about houses where you can buy online and they get delivered already made
with Tesla
within like a week.
Yeah,
and maybe that's a smart house that just gets delivered to a plot of land. Boom, plug it on, you're ready to go.
I often think, man, like, and this is just like the romanticist in me, like. When I think of all the human ingenuity and tech and brain power that went into creating the Vision Pro, could we not use all of that for a company that's making as much money as Apple for like good? Not saying that it's not good, but like for something.
Here's the thing, right? A lot of people within Apple they kind of think that's like, why are we going in this direction? It's
capitalist endeavor.
Like, why are we going with the Vision? Why are we going in VR and AR? A lot of people think of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Well, that's not an Apple thing. A lot of people are thinking that in Meta. A lot of people thinking that in Google.
We've heard of Meta and the amount of money that they've blown.
Yeah.
And Zuckerberg's blown on it. He spent billions on it, right?
Dude, I think that like
tens of billions.
You have to make bets. That bit I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Like the bets. I mean, you keep doing it and making.
With the VR's AR's now been here for a while.
It has been for a while. Yeah.
And I think the adoption of it has been very slow. It's not. It hasn't had its Steve Jobs on the stage moment with the iPhone. It hasn't had that moment yet. Yeah. I feel like you remember the Palm Pilot before the iPhones, before smartphones. There used to be Palm Pilots.
Yeah.
And that was literally like the smartphone before the smartphone. And while they were great, they were a bit clunky. They were like very slow, and the touch screen wasn't that great. I think we're in that phase of the VR AR move. We've got it's the tech's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it's there yet.
Yeah.
And
I think so too.
That's because the technology is not there, and because it costs too much to make something that would fit. That's what I've been told. It costs too much to make something that fits in the Ray-Ban sort of way.
I just think the tech is not there. But not to say it won't be.